She said, I've been trying this manifestation thing that you done talked about. I've been meditating and I ain't manifested.
I got my energy back, yeah. I'm on that frequency, mentally, spiritually, elevating, yeah. To my core.
What's good, my frequency family? I'm Ellie the Elevated. Welcome back to my channel. This is my platform where I am giving you the formula on how to stop being the editor and become the author of your life story. So welcome back to everybody who is new here. Welcome. Thank you for clicking on this thumbnail and watching my video. And for those who are returning, thank you so much for coming back. My trusted few, like, you guys ride for me and I love you so much for it. Thank you. If you like the topic of this video and you think it's something that you can rock with, please consider subscribing, hit the thumbs up button, go ahead and turn on notifications and rock with us. We are building this frequency family organically and we would love to have you a part of it. So today I want to talk to you guys about why your manifestation might not be working. I was talking to one of my friends and she's like, yeah, LA, I've been trying this manifestation thing that you talk about and it's just not working. So a couple of things that I want to mention to see if this could be the reason why your manifestation isn't working. Because manifesting isn't easy. I'm not saying that you can just meditate, close your eyes, think about it, and boom, it just falls into your lap. It doesn't work like that. It's a lifestyle. It's a belief that allows you to tap into this other dimension and be able to actually shape your own reality. So let's talk about it. First, I do want to start back with belief, because when I asked my girlfriend, like, okay, this big thing that you're asking for, do you really believe that you can have this? Like, are you prepared for it? Are you ready? And she was kind of like, we'll see what happened, girl. Like, I don't know. She wasn't like certain, like, yes, this is for me, I'm gonna get this, it's my time. It's like, so she didn't have that strong sense of belief. And like I said in my very first video on mindfulness, is that it takes a really strong belief in whatever it is that you're trying to manifest. You have to believe that it's for you. You have to believe that it's your time. You have to believe that you're worthy of it. You have to believe that you deserve it. You have to believe it, right? You have to be delusionally obsessed with this thing that you are trying to manifest and bring into your life. But that's only a part of it, right? So when you talk about belief, when you think about belief and you think about even like in the Bible and why the people of Israel were wandering in the woods for 40 years, in the wilderness for 40 years, it was because of their non-belief. God was saying to them that I'm going to give you this land. Like, this is your land. You're going to inhabit this land. And they were too busy complaining about the current inhabitants in the land. They're like, well, how are we going to have it when they're here? Like, how you going to work this out, God? And he's like, don't worry about it. This is your land. I need you to believe it. And they would not believe that that was going to be their land, that this was their time. They were going to take over and inhabit it. So what happened? He let them wander around for 40 years until the people who didn't believe ended up dying off. And then the ones who were left, who had faith and who believed, finally inhabited the land. So I say all that to say you have to believe. When you don't believe it, you're doing a disservice to yourself. You are being disrespectful to God, making him feel like, oh, he can't do this when he can do all things, right? So you have to believe, okay? If you're not believing, you're probably not going to manifest anything, right? It's just not going to work. Another thing that I want you to remember when you're trying to manifest your dreams, your desires into your life, is that your energy is what's attracting that to your life. So you have to maintain the energy that aligns with the frequency of what you're asking for. So, for example, if you go and you do your meditation session, you pay your little $25 and you do your session and you're feeling real good about yourself. You leave that class feeling so motivated, like, yeah, I can do this. And then you get home and you start yelling at the kids and kicking the dog and arguing with your husband, and you start getting on the phone and gossiping, and you change your whole energy pattern. That is not the energy that aligns with what you were just trying to manifest. And that energy has to align. So when that thing actually comes to you, it needs a place to connect. And it's magnetic. I keep saying that. It's all magnetic. You get back what you send out. So when you leave your little meditation session and you're feeling good, you need to maintain that feeling. You need to walk forth in the wish fulfilled, right? Live in the wish being already fulfilled. And you have to maintain that. If you go back to being all those things that we saw that were on that lower vibrational scale, you go back to being angry, gossiping, doubt, grief, despair. If you go back into that mindset, everything that you just did in that meditation class was a waste. Because that thing that you're trying to achieve, that love, that new job, that career, that new business, that better health, that thing vibrates on that positive frequency. And if you go back into this deep dark channel, there's nothing for it to connect to. Okay, so all I'm saying is you have to maintain that high vibration, that high frequency, that living in the wish fulfilled, that positivity, so that when that thing finally comes to you, which I told you, the universe does not move quickly, but when it finally comes to you, it needs to be able to connect. If not, it's going to go right past you, right? It's not even going to see that, hey, I'm here, I'm ready. Because to the universe, you're not ready. If you're vibrating on this low frequency, you're not ready to receive this big, great thing and move on to something different, right? So you have to keep your own energy in check. That could be a big reason why nothing is showing up in your life, because you're just a dark, depressing person. Okay, so you got to live in the wish fulfilled. You have to believe it. And something else that I wanted to mention here is this thing called life. It's so interesting. Like, the more that I research this, the more that it's just more mysterious and intriguing to me of like how we all came to be and what our purpose is and why are we here. And I'm beginning to believe more and more that we are all here for a reason. Like, there's something really mysterious going on. I don't think we all just happened out of happenstance and we live, we die, and that's it. So when I told you again in my first video that there's all these different versions of you that exist out in the universe, and you can summon to you which one of those you want to be, well, there are some caveats to that, right? So as you live and you go through this thing called life, you're constantly experiencing things, and it's like a simulation or like a game where the goal is to live, have experiences, learn lessons from those experiences, and then take those with you and go to the next step. If you're constantly going through the same situation over and over and over, you can't progress to the next step, because the goal is to conquer that step and then move to the next step, right? Then move to the next level. And if you're not learning the lessons, then you're going to continue to relive the same experiences, the same step, go through the same simulation over and over and over. And what we ultimately want to do is elevate. We want to evolve. It's all about evolution, right? Evolution is not about just getting older and then say, oh, with age comes wisdom. That's not necessarily true. I know a lot of old fools. So wisdom comes with living through the experience, learning from the experience, taking all of that, and then using it to get to the next level in your life. And as you evolve and you go through the higher and higher levels, trying to reach your higher self, you're also trying to tap into higher dimensions, right? Because again, we live in a three-dimensional world. So we're in the 3D. But you can go to 4D, 5D, 6D, 7D, 8D, 9. You can go to ninth dimension. Those dimensions are higher and higher and higher. They are higher levels of consciousness. And the only way that you can tap into those levels is to evolve. Is to learn these lessons that you are experiencing down here in this three-dimensional world and use that to tap into higher dimensions, because now your consciousness is higher. You have evolved as a person, right? In this human realm, you're evolving to a point where you can reach into dimensions that are outside of the human realm. Sounds crazy, but again, if you believe in the universe, if you believe in, there's even the multiverse. Like, let's not get into that, where there's multiple universes out there and there could be another version of you living on another universe. Like, it's crazy, but who knows? These are things that we will never ever be able to prove. It's just not gonna happen. Philosophers and everybody, they're beginning to tap more into energy and things that people have been studying for thousands of years, but we are light years away from really understanding everything about this universe. But what we do know is that this vibration is real. They've proven that, energy, magnetic fields, like they're starting to say, like, listen, there's something out there, tap into that. But to do it, you got to take this human form of a shell of a person of who you are, and you have to evolve into a level where your consciousness is high enough to be able to understand what it all means, understand the lesson that you were learned, and take that with you. And when you look at it in the form of like this being a game, this being like some type of simulation where we're trying to figure out our way through it, you got to ask yourself, well, what did I learn from that? You really got to sit with yourself, and you have to internalize every single thing that you're learning, and you have to put it into practice. You have to say, okay, I wasn't just given this knowledge for no reason. I was given this knowledge to use it along the next step. So how can I apply this in my next relationship, at my next job, in my next situation? When I encounter combative people, whatever, you got to learn how to take these things and apply them in your situation, right? And that's when all of the negativity, the grief, you're still gonna grieve, you're still gonna go through heartache and pain and things like that, but it's like the gossiping and just, the person that nobody wants to be around, that has to fade away, because in those higher dimensions, it becomes more and more about love, about understanding, about compassion, right? Those versions have really understood the world, and they're not looking at people and judging them. They've really evolved into understanding people and having empathy, and it's not hating on people and talking about people and putting people down and comparing people and being a narcissist. If you're still operating on that level of consciousness, you're not going to be able to manifest your dreams. You're not, because you are not conscious enough. You haven't evolved enough to be able to tap into that, okay? And you want to eventually evolve and become a person who's aware, who's compassionate, who can understand, who can listen, who can, relate to people. And that way, you just begin to see the world at a different level. Right? You're not down here looking down on people. It's like you're rising above things. And as you go higher and higher in this simulation, whatever it is called life, the higher you go, it's like the more, what is it called? Like when you're on Mario Brothers, like, and you get power-ups and stuff, the higher you go into your evolution journey, the more power-ups that you get. Like the more little things that you get to put in your bucket and you can use. And one of those things is that you get to tap into your higher self. So when you meditate, you're able to actually reach into those other dimensions and pull that person closer to you. You're able to summon your higher self to you, your $1 million self, your business self, your healthy self, like ultimately you want to be able to elevate to a place where you can now access your higher self, where you can access consciousness on a higher dimension. And you just can't do it when you're just like wandering around here playing games and falling into all these little shenanigans that's going on down here on earth. You have to evolve. You have to become wiser. You have to open yourself up to being able to see the world as something bigger than what it is, bigger than just what we see and live in every day. When you do that, you're given more and more access to go deeper into these other dimensions. And it's in those other dimensions where you're able to shape your reality. Now when you get up there, where you're able to go into these other dimensions, where your $1 million self lives, where your healthy self lives, where your new businesswoman lives. Like when you're able to tap into her, then when you meditate, you can connect with her and you can summon her. And you can have her then say, okay, I'm ready. I can deal with this. I can deal with everything that comes along with it. You know, I'm not going to shit on anybody. I'm not going to look down on people. I'm going to give back. You become just this different person. So that could be a reason why your manifestation or your meditation is not manifesting the things that you're trying to get into your life. It's like you're still operating on this really low vibration, and you haven't yet passed the level 2, level 3, whatever level you're on. You haven't passed that level where you can tap into that higher dimension. And there is where, you know, there's just more options. There's more options of prosperity and love and health and wealth and abundance. There's just more things that opens up to you. It's like every time you complete a level in this life and you learn a lesson and you evolve, then you open yourself up to receiving more and more access to the universe and all of its abundance that it has to offer you. But you can't get it when you're just, you know, you're a negative person and nobody wants to be around. Like, no, you're not just gonna get all of this access and all of these great things, right? Now, you may say, well, why is it that bad people are like super rich and seem like they always have good luck and they're always getting away with stuff? Like, what is it about them? They're not their higher self. So why is it that they get all of this abundance and this, that, and the third? That's a whole nother topic. But just to speak on that briefly, what happens is we're all sent here to live out like these different versions of life. Some of those versions are light and some of those versions are dark. Either way that you go, there's like abundance. Like you can be a bad person and be extremely rich. You know, you could be a bad person and do horrible things and seem like you have all the good luck in the world. We know a few of those people. I'm not gonna mention any names. You've seen some of them fall recently, but what you will see, maybe you won't always see it, but what's gonna happen is those people will always fall. They will always fall. Because when you operate in a place of darkness, it's never sustainable. So you have an option to go that way for sure. You can swindle people and rip people off, and you can do all of that stuff. And you could be really successful at it. But they will always fall. When you move towards the light in a positive way, you can sustain that. And the thing is, even if the people you see that are bad are getting like, you know, super rich and seem like they're super lucky, what does the Bible say? What does the word say? There comes a time when every knee shall bow and everyone must confess. So they can only go so high. In those dimensions that I talked about, they can only go so high. Why? Because I just said the higher the dimension, the more it becomes, that dimension is only filled with love, light, positivity, understanding, empathy. So if you're a bad person, you're never going to reach that dimension. You're not even trying to. So you're stuck down here in this 3-dimensional world, which is here on earth. And you can do a whole bunch of things here on earth, but you will never evolve to that higher dimension. Right? And you don't want to stay here because you're not going to stay here on earth. You're not going to stay here forever. So where are you going to go once this is over? Once the game is over and the gig is up, where are you going to go? You never evolve to a higher dimension. You never evolved to your higher self. You never accepted love and compassion, and you never, you know what I mean? Like learned the lessons and applied them and looked out for other people and gave back. So even though you see bad people who seem to be successful and they getting away with murder, they're stuck here. Yeah, they got it here in this 3-dimensional world, but they can never rise to that higher level of consciousness. Okay, they can't even comprehend it. So we don't want to aspire to do that. Even though it looks like it's all glitz and glam, we're thinking on a higher plane of life and beyond. Wherever this spirit goes, wherever this energy goes afterwards, you want to align yourself with that frequency of that type of a person and begin to live out that type of existence on earth. You want to create that type of existence here on earth, and then you'll be allowed to tap into the higher dimensions and access some of those things that are higher that we won't see until who knows when, but you can begin to experience it while you're down here on earth and make your life more pleasant and abundant and free and, you know, lighthearted. So this stuff gets really, really deep. Like I do studies and research on all of these topics, and I don't want to go down a deep rabbit hole and end up being just like way out there, but I do want to understand the world a little bit better. I do want to understand our existence. I want to understand my purpose. I want to understand how to live my best life and achieve everything that I was sent here to accomplish. So as I research this stuff, it gets pretty deep. You know, it's got me thinking about reincarnation and is it real? Is it not? And, you know, we won't go deep into it right now, but, you know, some of the research that I was looking at over the weekend, even, it was saying like, once you've played all the levels on this game down here on this earth, in this life, at this time, that energy, your spirit carries on to live out another simulation, you know, and it takes everything that it learned here and it starts to live out its next experience. And I don't know, I've never believed in reincarnation, but as I was doing my studies, it doesn't sound as far-fetched for some reason. It's gonna take way more research for me to really, I gotta understand it, I gotta see if it makes sense. But none of this really makes sense when you think about it, because you can't test it. You know, a lot of it you can't test, right? So it's all gonna come down to what you feel and your spirit is right. But I will say that there are people who I've met, one of which is my son, that I feel like from the day he was born, I just felt like he came from, I just felt like he had been here before, you know? And I know some of you have children and you see it too, where it's like your child comes out and they just feel like they have this old spirit. You know, they know things that they shouldn't know. They speak just, you know, more intelligently at 5 years old, and they have these in-depth conversations about life. And I'm just like, why are you talking about that at 5 years old? You know, it's just really weird. And I've always felt like my son was like, I don't know, I felt like he could have come from another, like he was, I felt like he was reincarnated, and he was somebody who was sent to me to give me more messages, because I get so much knowledge from him. Like, I have conversations with my son about stuff like this. Like, when we talk, we have really deep conversations. He's 22 now, and we've been having these conversations since he was 5. And it's just so weird. And it's like, when I found out I was pregnant with him, I had just buried my grandmother, my mother's mother, and I was like losing a bunch of weight, not feeling well. So after the funeral was wrapped up, planned everything, got that over with, I went to the doctor and found out I was pregnant. And I'm like, wow, how'd that happen? You know, I had no idea I was pregnant. And my grandmother was like my best buddy. You know, we used to sit and talk for hours about life and all this other stuff. And then when I found out I was pregnant and my son came, I was like, is this my grandma reincarnated? I don't know. But he's always had that vibe. He's always had that vibe. It's very, very weird. So I don't know if I believe in reincarnation, but we do know that this body goes back ashes to ashes and dust to dust. But where does the spirit go? Where does energy go? You know, we don't know. But what we do know is that we want to live into our fullest purpose while we're here. We want to manifest the great things in our life. We want to live our best lives and enjoy all of the things that this world has to offer us. And we cannot do it if we are in a negative space, if we are doubting, if we are not, you know, truly believing in the power of God and everything that He wants to bless us with. So we have to believe. We have to make sure we stay aligned with the frequency of the things that we are trying to manifest. and we do not want to wander around in the wilderness for 40 years, honey. And we want to learn the lesson and get off of that level so we can move to the next level as quickly as possible. So learn the lesson, and don't just say, okay, I learned, I got it. No, you got to really show that you've learned. You have to really show that you got it. And how do you do that? By applying that to your life, by handling that situation the next time differently. That shows that you've grown. That shows that you've evolved. Until you do that, you stand right here on this level, play it again. Rewind and play it again. You're not going to move past it. And so if you're tired of experiencing the same type of men, the same type of, jobs that are letting you down, getting passed over, getting looked over, health keeps failing. Like, if you want better, greater, bigger things, you have to take the lessons that you learn, believe in yourself, believe that you are worthy, elevate yourself, evolve, really know what it means to have wisdom and to understand, start to comprehend this life. Take a look at what's going on around you and start to ask yourself, what's going on? Be compassionate, have conversations with people, be giving, be understanding, like understand their stories. I hate when I see someone who says, oh, this person, they see a homeless person on the street and say, oh, they just want to be homeless because they're lazy. It's like, what? Like, you're never going to evolve if you think that people are homeless because they want to be. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, don't apply that same reasoning and understanding to the way that you approach things in life. Like, think from a higher level, be compassionate, think, the best of people, and just, look for ways where you can help as long as it's not hurting you, and just like open yourself up to this new evolution of life and what it means, and how can I play it, and how can I get through this game. How can I get through this challenge? How can I get through this phase and learn something from it? What is the lesson? How can I apply this? How can I use this? Like, that's wisdom, that's growth, that is evolution. And that is when you are able to tap into higher dimensions and truly manifest things that you want out of your life by shaping your own reality. So if you've been trying your meditation and it's not working, try these few simple things and see if things start to shift for you. But like I'm gonna tell you guys, this is a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle. It's not something that you can dibble and dabble in and then put it in a closet and come back to it later. No, it is an everyday, ongoing process of growth, of learning, of opening up, until it just becomes your default setting where you're always happy and you're positive and you're expecting and you're believing in yourself. It's a lifestyle, and you'll know when it's starting to sink in and you're starting to change. You're gonna know, because you're gonna have brighter days. You're gonna find yourself laughing all the time and just lifting other people's spirit all the time, and you're just that person that people gravitate to when they want to be around, because you're so, you're lighthearted and easy to talk to and caring and loving. You want to become that person. And again, you're doing all that in the midst of all the shenanigans that's going on in the world. But whatever it is that you have to do to make that your reality, just make that the focus for yourself. It's going to make you feel better. It makes you healthier. You don't have stress and, the heart disease and the, all the things that comes along with stress and depression. Like, you won't be experiencing that stuff, right? So that's it. I just wanted to say, like, to my friend who said she ain't manifest nothing, let's try some things and let's see. But don't give up on the practice, because I can guarantee you it's not the practice itself. It's something that we're doing if it's not working for us. So don't give up on the practice. Don't give up on yourself. God wants to bless you. The universe has an infinite amount of resource that it can give you if we just evolve into a space where we're able to tap into it and receive it. And that is ultimately our goal. We want to shape our reality and become the author and not the editor, baby. So listen, like I always say, we got this, guys. If you've made it to the end of the video, thank you so much for sticking around. I really do appreciate you. For all of those who are, again, returning, thank you for returning to my videos. And if you were new here and you stuck around, thank you. Please come back. I would love to see you here more often. But until then, manifest your dreams, baby, because that does it for me. So do it for you.